Keep the girls in the car.
Stay in the car, okay? Just stay in the car. But Diabolo?
Okay, what's he saying? Diabolo means devil.
Baltasar, how are you doing today?
Hi, Rory. Nice to meet you.
You too, buddy. So I'm really excited to see Beast for the second time, but in a packed cinema when everyone screams in unison at the parts where people are going to scream in unison. I'm very excited for that. For you, what is your favorite scary movie of all time?
I really liked the Quiet Place. You know, I thought it was a really, the first installment was really great. I'm sure that's one of them, you know. Jaws, for sure. You know, I was young and easy to scare back then. You know, they did a really good job on that. Nothing else comes to my mind right now, but I'm sure, you know, Friday the 13th, you know, like I was just, you know, I was a teenager. It killed me. Shining, you know, like now it starts to roll. Those movies, yeah.
It's actually funny you mentioned The Shining because I noticed that during this movie there are some beautiful kind of long tracking shots where we're following the action, and it was very The Shining where we're turning in the corners in the hotel. Was that like a direct influence for when you're for this? I guess
I'm sure it's more subconscious than conscious, to be honest, and a lot of things you take in subconsciously, and I thought if I stay in this yard, and now you mention it, you know, like I stay in this yard, it's like you don't know, you're stuck there and you don't know what's coming at you, and that's definitely what Shining does to you, you know. But I didn't do it consciously. But I'm sure that was one of the reasons, because one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm sure that's where the education came from. But you know, also like when the attack, when the lion comes at you, you're stuck there. You can't get out. You can't cut out to a wide angle. You know, it's more interesting to see it from their perspective. You know, and that's the approach. And I tell you, it was actually because you mentioned the scary, you know, shouting cinema. We had a screening last night, the premiere in New York, and I have never ever experienced anything like it. I was just blown away by people screaming, laughing and screaming, you know, and the whole, you know, and clapping. And so it was really, really, you know, nice to see it with a full house.
Oh, that's when you know you've scared them properly, is because they follow it up with a laugh because they're so nervous about how loud they just screamed. So for this, like, was there any other particular influences? Because obviously you've got Jaws in there, and like it's man versus nature, but it's also this weird claustrophobia because you've got everyone in a confined space, but also agoraphobia because if you're out in the open, you're in just as much trouble that way. Yeah. So like, were there any direct cinematic or televisual influences for this one?
Not direct, but you know, but you're right. Is that what I was looking for? So, but agoraphobia, I'm sure you get more from seeing from your perspective endless fields, you know, and rather than from God's perspective, which feels doesn't feel your emotional connection with. So I think in a way that's true, but I don't think. I mean, I definitely is more like Children of Man. The way that was shot, I would definitely, you know, and Revenant in some way, but more Children of Man. You know, I really like, because he allowed, what I loved about that was he allowed himself to do all these long, elaborate takes that, you know, you were really like in the car, you are there, it's really tense, but at the same time, he didn't always stay as welcome, like pushing it, like you see more, which Birdman was I really like, by the way, but it's that when you feel sometimes he's forcing the one shot to continue the concept. You know, so I like the idea that giving the way where it really mattered and helped, the claustrophobia, the agoraphobia, the whole tenseness, and also just not like is always something coming at you. You never see it until it comes, and that's how we emotionally. And I think scares. And I thought a lot about this. I lived in a big house when I was a kid, and there was a basement, and you create these scares of the unknown, and they are real for you. And it's mostly the things you don't see that scare you, and trying to connect into those, tap into this in people, you know, that it's very important to me. Like so you have to find what is not necessarily the full creature scares the people the most. Is where is it? When is it coming? You know. And all that. So I think by creating this, you create that you can move away from the perspective, you know.
Absolutely. Baltasar, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, I wish I had a long more time with you. It was fun speaking.
Me too, buddy. Me too. Next time.
Don't you move, okay?